So when you first start, it's hard to stay in it, actually, because you're just trying to deal with your distortions, right? You're just like, get the distortions out, right? So you're just like, whatever. So you triangulate because it's part of the meditation. You don't really understand why you're doing it, but you do it because that's what I'm guiding. So you're like, okay, whatever. But it's actually really important because when you're centered in the body, it's actually easier to release distortion pattern. Okay? Okay? It's just easier to do that because, again, the center point of space and time is like the center point of the entire illusion, right? It's the middle. So all the illusion, if you can imagine, emanates around it. So if you can be in the center, it gives you more influence more efficiently over the illusion around you. Does that make sense? If you yourself are in the zero. So the reason I suggest that at the beginning or guide people through that is because then they can release distortion. So at the beginning, it's hard, right? Because all you're doing is like trying to like manage the release, and it's a very, for a lot of people when they start, it's a lot, right? You're detoxing a lot.
Yeah, and it's new.
It's new, and you're like, I don't even know what the hell I'm supposed to be feeling. And, you know, all this sort of stuff happens. So you will slip in and out of it.
Okay.
And what will happen is that the more distortion pattern you release, the higher your resonance becomes, the more refined you become in terms of where you are in the 0 point. You start to sense it. So when you fall out of the zero, it will not feel good to you. You'll start to feel scattered, off-center. You'll feel like people pushing into you a little bit more, and you're like, whoa, what's going on? Do you know what I mean? You start to feel a little bit more like wobbly. That's the best way. And it's like hard to like regain back into that center point if you've come out of it. And then you recognize, I don't really like being out of it very much, right? And so you'll do what you can to be mindful and stay in it. And if you fall out of it, you're like, okay, what do I need to do to get back in?
Yeah, and that's kind of my question. What do you need to do
to get back in?
And to stay in.
To stay in. Yeah. So the thing is awareness of the body. Now it sounds really simple, but honestly, it's simple to say. And if you do it for like the single moment, then of course it's easy. Yeah, you just like become aware of your body. You come into it. It's easy. It is easy.
But more than a moment.
Yeah, it's the practice of it, right? It's the awareness and the practice and all that sort of stuff. So it's to be aware of that. So I will use movement or breath or something to bring you into the body, right?
Perfect. Yoga.
So yoga is huge. High intensity, what is it? HIIT, like high intensity interval training. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
Like things like
things
this.
that kind of get your mind present. It's almost like, okay, so here's a question. If you're present in time, it allows you to be easier. It's easier to get you present in space.
Exactly. Or the 0 point of space. Yes. And so the more you're in your body, the easier it is to come into the present moment of linear time.
Because if anyone listening can think of like when they've like, whatever, ran a marathon, or maybe you haven't ran a marathon, but ran a mile or done something very like exhausting. You're just present.
Yes.
You're just, you're not worrying about this or that or thinking about it, whatever. So you're very present, which means it's easier to access.
Exactly. So that's why it's the crosshairs of time and space. So as you say, when you're exerting like that, you're very aware of your body. You're not really thinking about anything else. You're just thinking like, am I going to make it to the end? Yes, really. I mean, if you're exerting really hard. And then because of that, you're very present in time because all you're in is in the present moment. You're not thinking about anything else. You're just there in it. So, and a lot of people, you can use breath work for this. This is another pathway to being, to gaining, because why? Because the breath, especially if you're breathing in certain patterns, right? There's whole different ways of doing this, right? There's all these traditions of breath work, right? From yoga, the yogi tradition has been doing like Kapalabhati and all these different things, right? Fire breath and all that sort of thing. Lion breath and anyway, there are all these different kinds of breath, right? To like get you to amp up your bioenergy and to bring you into more presence, etc. You know, Wim Hof has his method. Like there's all these methods. So breath work, why is it so important? Because it brings you present in the body, right? Like you're very centered. Like if you're really doing it and it's hard, it's the same thing as exerting, right? You're now very focused just on your breath. There's nothing else that you're paying attention to. And you're very aware of your body because you're breathing.
Because you're using your body.
Exactly. Exactly. And the nice thing about breath work is because of the pattern or the sequence or whatever it is you're doing, you can start to bridge into, because it will boost your life force and it will plump it up and you will start to be able to access, especially if you're super present, you can like push your resonance up into the, like these moments of into the eternal now, right? So if you're doing a lot of breath work, people will start to like journey and stuff like that, right? They're not taking anything. They're just using their breath. Why? Because when they're so present centered in the body in the present moment of linear time, and their resonance is going up, they bridge into the eternal now, and that's when you have those experiences that are more expansive.